Welcome to In My Bag with Backpack Jeff, where we connect with ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And today, y'all, I got a very special guest here with me today, y'all. I got Miss Tiffany McCoy here with me, the owner of what is it?
Bird of
Bird
Paradise
of
Events.
Paradise Events.
Yes.
Bird of Paradise Events. Welcome.
Thank
How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for
Okay.
having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. I'm
Such
loving
an
these
honor.
colors, yo. I'm loving these colors. Like I can't like
Thank you.
I can't not with the colors,
You
yo.
got to bring the light. You got to bring the light.
Yeah, I love it. How you doing so far?
I
How
am
you doing?
amazing. I am amazing.
Doing good.
Amazing,
Year is going
yes.
good. It's late January, early February,
Ooh, it's quarter one.
quarter one.
It's quarter one.
What's on? So before we get there, right? Because we about to run.
Great, jump in.
Yeah, we about to run ahead. Okay. Who is Tiffany? What does Tiffany do? What is Birds of Paradise Events?
Tiffany is affectionately known as Tiffany Event Planner.
Okay.
I am the founder and owner of Bird of Paradise Events.
Mm-hmm.
I do weddings, events,
Mm-hmm.
speaking, mentoring, coaching, and I am the author of the Competent and Confident Wedding Planners Guide,
Okay.
which I dropped in 23.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I do weddings, events, and all extraordinary things.
Weddings, events, and all extraordinary things. So like let's talk about it because I got married a couple years ago.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Been
thank you.
amazing things since.
Yeah.
When you get a rib, you get blessings.
Come on now.
Whew.
Come on now. I got the whole rack too.
Yes.
We didn't go for the half rack. We
Yes.
went for the whole rack.
Yes.
So event planning.
Yes.
How and why event planning?
So it is, my why is to give people extraordinary personalized experience
Mm-hmm.
so that they can be in the moments.
Okay.
So that is, the why for that.
Okay.
I have a passion and a love for what I do. So I'm able to give weddings and wedding couples and clients the experience of being stress-free
Okay.
and being able to plan with ease.
Mm-hmm.
And just give them the experience to be in the moment of their day and in the moments of their planning process. If you are doing it yourself, you're kind of frazzled, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed.
My wife can attest to that.
So my job and my passion and purpose allows me to alleviate them of those things.
Okay. So when you were thinking about getting into event planning, have you always been planning events? Like since you were a kid, you were planning birthday parties for your best friends and stuff like that?
No.
Or like what was the moment that you said, I think I want to do event planning. I have this idea that I can do this.
So I have the caveat of I was a bride.
Okay.
And following my wedding, I said, I'm going to open my own business.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, I was a bride and let me start my own wedding planning business. It was, my background is, for 15 years, I was the second in command to presidents and CEOs in Baltimore.
Okay.
Which allowed me the experience to demand a certain level of customer service.
Okay.
It gave me the experience of being in charge of logistics. Now, while I do design, I make things pretty and all those things, my main job and my main concern is logistics and making sure everyone is where they're supposed to be, everyone's doing what they're supposed to do so things can run smoothly.
Okay.
So that's pretty much my background. I didn't be like, oh, I can make these big pretty things, and yeah, I tried that. That's not for me.
That's not for you.
I tried that when I first started my business. I was in my living room making nice little pretty centerpieces. That's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to make sure that everything is planned how we've planned it for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody shows up when they're supposed to show up. You have the right vendors on your team,
Okay.
And things like that.
Okay, got it. So after your wedding, you say, I'm going to open up this business because you have some experience, well, a lot of experience in logistics and planning.
Mm-hmm.
What year was that?
2008.
2008. And
Yeah.
you've been doing it since then, or like, okay, what
Since
do
then,
you remember
15
your
years.
first event?
I do.
What was your first event and how did it go?
My first event was actually a nonprofit gala.
Okay.
Because initially I wanted to do corporate events.
Okay.
But when I started that, people in corporations had their own people in-house that did it, or they weren't paying people to do that, and or I didn't have the avenues
Right.
to get in the corporate world that way. So my first event under my company was a nonprofit gala, which I was on the board for that organization. So they allowed me to do that nonprofit gala for them.
Okay.
It was great, but it also allowed me not to start in weddings and be stuck in just weddings.
Right.
So it gave me the avenues of, oh, I've done a nonprofit gala. So then, I could say, if I'm applying for a corporate, event, I've done a nonprofit gala. If I'm applying for a nonprofit gala, I've done that.
Right.
I'm just not walking in the door saying I've only done weddings.
Okay. So wait, there's a place where you can apply for those types of things, or do you have to like find those?
You have to find them.
Okay.
They have the RFPs and, things like that they put out for event planning, which incorporates galas and meetings and things like that. So yes.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Yes.
So you've been doing this for 15 years. Okay. Wedding planning is a part of what you do. Have you ever came across a Bridezilla?
Of course.
What
and
was
Groomzillas.
That? And there's a Groomzilla too.
Groomzillas. Yes.
I thought this was only a woman thing.
No. There's Groomzillas.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about the experience with the Bridezilla and how do you handle something like that?
So I handle that. In order to do this, you have to have empathy.
Okay.
And I handle Bridezillas and Groomzillas with the utmost empathy, understanding that this is a special day and there are a lot of emotions involved.
Okay.
So, I was taught, so my position is I never stop learning.
Right.
No matter how many years I've been doing this, no matter how much of an expert I am, I never stop learning.
Okay.
So I've been taught that there are no no's. So if I have a Bridezilla who is just going through, it's really not me. There's all the things that's going on in reference to what we're doing, the wedding planning, the relatives that have input. There's a lot of, things that are in play. So I handle that with empathy. And, there's no. There's a no, we can't do that, but we can do this. Okay, in my professional opinion, this would be better.
Right.
So, but it's also knowing your clients. It's getting to know them, knowing their personalities. It's, I always say, when they are interviewing us, we are interviewing them. So we also know if we can foresee what's going to happen in these 10 to 12 months that we're working with them. There might be some ups and downs, but essentially I become family or friend. Most of my clients, I'm still family
cool
and friend.
Right?
No phone.
It definitely does. It definitely does become that. Before I continue, I just wanted to let y'all know if y'all have made it this far, I need y'all to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe, and I want y'all to leave us a comment.
Please.
Let us know what y'all think of the conversation so far, and then let us know who we should also interview next. So it does become a friendship. Like I think one of the things the reason why I love wedding planners is because it helps me to not have to think about the stuff that I don't want to think about, especially on the day of the actual wedding. Exactly. Like that's supposed to be the day where you got all of this stuff and it's running smooth and I don't have to think about any of this and it's going to run the way that we have planned it out for this extended period of time.
Yes.
So in wedding planning, what's all of the services you offer? Like I had a wedding planner at my last event and I think what she said was a lot, the service that a lot of people get is like day of services.
Yes. We hate that term.
What is it called?
It should be month of coordinator.
Month of coordinator.
Yes, because day of makes you think of what?
Just the wedding day.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't just come in on the wedding day and make magic happen.
Really?
We actually need to be in play 4 to 6 weeks before, and that's about a month. So there's these terms, so it's month of, and then day of.
Okay.
But day of shouldn't exist because we're just not dropping in on a day of.
Right. Yeah. I would imagine that would be. I would imagine that would be
Catastrophic.
extremely difficult. Like, yo, I got all of this stuff in my head. I've been planning for the past 12 months. Here it is.
Here you go. I see you on the day of at 8 a.m.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy.
We would love to change that to just month of. And
okay.
Just,
so look. So look, y'all, we starting today, okay? We are making a movement that there are no more day of wedding coordinators. It is a month of wedding coordinators, okay? And they're going to come and they're going to get your event extremely right.
We'll wrap it up. Dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
Okay. So tell me about your entrepreneur journey, right? Like how did you get your first clients? What was that like? Like did somebody just come to you and say, "Hey, do you do weddings?" And then you was just like, "Yeah, I do weddings. Sure."
No.
I wish. What was it like in order to build this up?
So again, I love, I continue to learn. And when I started, I hated networking.
Okay.
I thought that I would go to networking events and, just pass my card out. That was it. I had to quickly learn. I have to talk and tell people what I do, which wasn't a thing for me. But when I started, I utilized the free advertising resources. So anything that was free, I put Bird of Paradise on it. Anything.
What type of resources had free advertising?
Like party planning sites. They probably not even around now, but like party planning sites where you can do a free listing.
Definitely not around anymore.
Because you got to pay for everything.
Subscription.
Yep, I put it everywhere. And then literally, my first wedding was 200 people in Bowie, Maryland. And that was the wedding where I did centerpieces as well, which quickly found out was not for me. And that was also how I got my logo. So the fee that I got for that, I put back into my business, did a logo, domain, business cards, etc. However, as I mentioned in my book, that wedding was a learning experience for me. So I, did rehearsal. We got to rehearsal. I sent the bride down on the wrong side of the father of the bride. And the minister let me, they walked all the way down the aisle. The minister said, "Hey, wedding planner, isn't she on the wrong side?" And I turned beet red and I was flustered. Like I was done. But I was like, oh, so we did it again. But literally that has stuck with me for 12, 13 years, however long it's been. Things happen.
Yeah.
And you got to learn. But I don't know how they found me. That they were amazing. That bride was amazing. Her mom was amazing. And I'm still connected to the bride as of today.
Yes.
On social media, we, connect every now and again. But that was my first wedding.
Not walking down on the wrong
Not a wedding planner. A wedding planner.
Walking down on the wrong side. And the pastor said a wedding planner.
And it was long aisle. So it was kind of like a big church. He was like, "A wedding planner." And I was way in the back. And I was like,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So do you do right now? Do you do mostly wedding events, or what other types of events do you do?
I kind of even out. I even out with weddings, and corporate events and business events.
Okay.
So some of my corporate clients, Coppin, State, Morgan, Concentric in Baltimore, Live Casino. So I kind of fluctuate. I used to have a time on it where I say, oh, I do weddings in wedding season, then I do other events in off season, but they all kind of mesh together now. Okay, which is a blessing.
Yeah, definitely a blessing. So, because it seems like you wouldn't have a slow season now, because even though right now within the wintertime, maybe a slow season for the weddings and things,
right?
You're also getting those other types of corporate events. So how do you? So right now. How do you kind of find those initial corporate events, right? Because like you said, it's there's nowhere to like really market for that kind of thing right now. You said you had to go out and network. Are you going to like these companies' galas and poaching? Because that's what I'd be doing.
I go to some, happy hours. So some company, they have happy hours for like their clients and networking events. There's also RFPs. So like I look on websites for RFPs for corporate events.
What type of websites do you look at for RFPs? Do they ever ask for speakers? RFPs or no?
I don't think so.
No, because I need some.
I know, me too.
I need some speaking engagements.
Me too.
Like the corporate speaking engagements.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. That is my 2024 like goal.
Is to do corporate speaking.
It's to do speaking events. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So we got to keep each other plugged in.
Yeah, for sure.
If you hear, then I hear.
Yeah.
Then we. Yep.
Oh, I got some. I got some information on how to get them. Like I can do colleges all day, every day. I can do middle and high schools all day, every day. But them corporate bags be a little different.
Yeah.
Like
in the bag. We gotta get to the bag.
Hey, just be a little different. Like going to like sales companies. So insurance companies. So like Aflac, they bring in lots of people. AARP, State Farm, all of those different kind of, and you just got to find a regional office. And if you can find the regional office and then go and talk to the regional person, typically they're the ones that'll bring them in. I used to sell insurance, so I'm familiar with it because we brought in like Steelers players. They used to bring in Inky Johnson and stuff like that all the time. And I'm like, man, with all of the rich people in here, I know y'all. Man.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No. We'll talk about that. But okay. So you're doing wedding events. Okay. You start getting these corporate events. You're going to networking events. Where are you finding your networking events, and how has networking kind of worked and played a huge significant part and role in what you're doing today?
So my thing is always building relationships.
Okay.
And I have a really good network of people that I build relationships with. My relationships, what we always say is we nurture them. But meeting people at networking events, following up, connecting. I used to, pre-COVID, if I went to we used to have an event in Baltimore called Cake and Whiskey.
Okay.
And it was all women. Business owners. It started as all women. It went for a lot of years. I think they had it quarterly maybe, but it was an amazing space to be in with women of all, business owners, entrepreneurs. And I connected with so many people. And then, we would meet for coffee or, just to talk about business, what my service, what I actually offer, what they actually offer, so it's all about building those relationships. If you're at an event, that you're just not giving your card and then that's it, because we collect cards all day long.
Right.
But did that person connect with you on some type of way, where you want to know more, where you can actually benefit from them and they can benefit from you, and then doing the work and following up and connecting. So that's the whole thing. You just can't go and be like, here's my card, and go home and hope that you're going to get a call for a bag.
Yeah, 100%. That's one of the reasons why number one, I don't carry business cards, is because what happens to the business cards that I get, they usually get washed and dried.
I haven't had business cards since pre-COVID.
Yeah,
I haven't had business cards in a minute.
So I'm good at, I'll take your information, because if I take your information, I know what to do with it. I know how to follow up with you. I already have a message or an email that I'm going to send out to you. I literally in my phone have draft text messages and draft emails that if you give me a card, I'm literally going to text you the joint right now, yo.
Yep.
Hey, such and such, nice meeting you, blah, 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 blah. Let's set up a time to talk. Because I know how I want this relationship to go, and I kind of know where I want the relationship to go from there. So it makes it much easier if I can take your information as opposed to you taking mine, because I don't know what you're going to do with it. You may not ever call me. And look, I'm looking for an opportunity.
Back in the day, we used to have stacks of business cards. Like I used to have a system when I went to an event, where I'm putting the people I want to reach out to the next morning in one pocket, and then just throwing everybody into my purse. When I moved when I bought a house, I found so many business cards. I was like, what is this? Like I used to have a system of like, what am I doing with all these cards? Like I'm talking to somebody for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever. I'm like, oh yes, yep, I need to talk to them because
Yeah.
they at this hotel, it's new. I need to do a style shoot here. Look, they're going in this pocket. Oh, I'm at this person over here. Don't need to talk to them. They, put them in that. It's crazy.
It is.
But everything has a system.
Everything. So what are you using right now in regards to systems? How are you managing the level of events and the amount of events that you have? Like, because I would imagine project management and, like you said, logistics, it's not an easy thing to be able to do, to navigate all of these people, to make sure that everybody is where they're supposed to be. You're like the operations person.
Correct.
I do not. I have events. I have to plan these poetry events and stuff like that, and I do not like being the operations person.
So you should call me.
Okay.
See how that worked?
Yeah. See how, bam,
Yeah,
straight like that. Because
that's
I don't like being a logistics person. Like, to figure out who are the poets, what time y'all getting there, all of this different. Like I got to find a DJ. Now I got to find it. I don't want to find none of that. I'm just like,
my job is to be the point person. So therefore, none of those people will call you. You would be like, Tiffany, here's the DJ. The event starts at 7. Tiffany, here's the photographer. The event starts at 7. Tiffany, here's the poet. Here's the list of poets. I put together a timeline, and then I am the point person for them. So therefore, I'm like, okay, DJ, poet, photographer, everybody you need to be here at 4. You need to come at 5. You need to do sound check at this time, be done at this time. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's not what you do.
That's not what I do. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. So,
tell them, y'all, that ain't what he do. That's what I do.
It is not. It is 100% not. And most of the times, like, I'm so bad with it that, like, if the event's tomorrow, I'll be telling you today, hey, pull up. This will tell you supposed to pull up. Like, because I just
know.
don't like it. I truly don't.
I understand.
And it's a headache. Okay. So networking. Do you like networking? Do you enjoy networking?
I love it now.
You love it now?
It's actually a part. So Bird of Paradise Events is a brand, but I also made Tiffany Event Planner a brand.
Okay.
So that brand has speaker, networker, and mentor and coach.
Okay.
So I actually like it now because sometimes I do my own signature events, which is based on networking and meeting people that you don't know, connecting with people that you don't know. Sometimes, again, I used to network so much, we would go to networking events and the same people are just talking to the same people.
Right.
So when I started doing my own networking events, I would build in, space where I'm like, okay, now it's time to connect and talk to somebody that you don't know. Everybody move in a room. And of course, there are some introverts, extroverts, and I'm like, you have to move. Like, you have to talk to people you don't know. Everybody pull out their phones, pull up social media, something, that you're meeting someone. People always used to be like, I met this person at your event. I met this person at your event. I connected with this person.
You know what? I got an idea. I wonder if somebody already has it. But you know how, like, they had those cards with, like, first date, and they have the questions and stuff like that? There should be, like, networking cards.
Networking.
Yeah. Are those out right now?
I don't know. Put that in your phone.
I'm about to look this up on Amazon to see. Don't speed
trivia, entrepreneur trivia questions.
Right.
Yeah, breaking icebreakers, entrepreneur icebreakers, all types of things. He's looking it up.
I'm looking it up. Bro, meaningful conversations for couples.
No, we got the date. We got the
date. Icebreaking conversations. Let me see, because I don't know if there's one for, like, new opportunities, connect, have fun, move beyond awkward. Let me see. What's the?
I don't know.
Let me see. If you had to change your name, what would you change it to?
Look, we found a new thing.
We just got a business. Let's get it. I'm in there. I'm definitely about to make these speed networking cards. Hey, so look, for your next networking event, you need these cards, yo.
Oh my goodness.
Because these are great conversation starters to help. Ooh, it's about to be crazy. All right, cool. So you do in event planning, what's the most challenging part about what it is that you do as an event planner?
Let's see. I mean, the most challenging thing is probably, you know, convincing potential clients
Mm-hmm.
that you need to spend the money so that you don't do the things that you hate to do.
Mm-hmm. How do you convince somebody of that though? How do
Um,
you help them see the value in what? Because I mean, I saw the value
mhm.
in it immediately.
Right. Really, it's just telling them the things that they can't do. Like, and you can visualize it,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't be what I can be on the day of your wedding or event.
Right.
You can't be in 1,000 places.
I cannot. I
You
can't be
know?
getting dressed and
Yeah.
trying to get my mind right
Yeah.
and getting hyped.
Technically, if you're an entrepreneur, you really shouldn't be sending out text messages the day before, like, all right, here's what you need to do. You
Right.
know, it should be planned. It should be an email. It should be a timeline. There should be certain processes that are in place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really sitting down with the clients and educating them
Okay.
on foreseeing the disaster
Right.
if they don't,
If
if they don't
get
have a
one.
professional.
Okay. So take me through an event. What are some of the things that you're doing and what are some of the questions that you're asking? Let's say I want to have an event, a wedding, I'm getting married, 200 people. What are some of the questions that you're asking me right away?
Asking you, of course, how many guests? 200.
Right.
If you plan to have everything at one place, because that matters. So if you're having a ceremony here, if you're getting married here, so if you're having multiple locations, how many professionals will we have? Of course, in this day and time, there are a minimum of 15 professionals that need to be managed.
15 professionals.
15.
What are the professionals doing? Like, who are the professionals?
Photographer,
Okay.
videographer,
Okay.
florist,
Okay.
rentals,
Okay.
venue,
Okay.
catering,
Mm-hmm.
hair,
Mm-hmm.
makeup.
Jeez.
Yep. DJ.
Uh-huh.
Who else?
That's 9 right there already.
Cake.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Wow. So
that is
that's 10 right there.
That's
right
all
off the rip.
those people that
Right.
someone has to manage.
That someone has to manage during that time.
Right. Because they all need to arrive.
And if you want a singer, if you want a violinist, I saw you follow Jen Violin. That's the homie right there. Shout out to her.
Yes.
She does a lot of different wedding events and
she's
stuff
always
like that.
booked.
Always.
I've tried to book her. I don't know how many times she's always booked.
We need to partner and you should add like a poet, add a poet as a package.
I should.
And
Yeah,
I can be that poet and then I can just throw you a little
Yes.
something based off of.
So when we met years ago,
yeah.
When I saw you, that's why I started following you, because you were at
We were at the joint in Laurel, right?
Yep. And you were the
host.
MC.
Yes.
Yep. And I think you did poet as well. That's why I started following you, because I'm like, oh, I might need him one day. That's how that works, But yeah, so it's just talking to them, going through the day with them on all the things that has to be done that you can do.
Okay.
Like, I've literally done a wedding and tracked my steps, and I've done 19,000 steps.
19,000 steps at a wedding. Oh my goodness. So, oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right. So we're going through we're going through and you're asking the questions. Do you have like a list of talents? Like, let's say, do you come with like the suggestions that say, hey, look, these are the photographers that I work with. I've had great experiences with videographers, that kind of stuff, because I would imagine that would also be beneficial.
Correct.
Not only to you, but not only to the people who are getting married or what have you, but to you, but then also, you got a little bit of power in there now.
That is correct.
So
I always tell people, not on my cocky side, but on my good side, I can build a wedding out of my cell phone.
Okay.
I can text venues, caterers, florists, musicians, from my cell phone.
Okay.
I don't have to sit at my email and wait for a 24, 48-hour reply.
Right.
I can be like, hey, are you available on March 3rd, 2024?
Right.
And then kind of move from there. But yes, I do have a variety of professionals that I've had the privilege and honor of working with over this 15 years.
Okay.
But also some that I'm connected with via social media, etc., that I would love to work with, that I can still reach out to. And that's what I also come with, because the other part of it is I am getting to know you again, and based off of your personality, your budget, and your vision, I am handpicking the professionals that I think will work best with you. Not just me saying, hey, here's your photographer, Jeff. That photographer might not work for you and your wife. You might not have a connection. But based off of, my relationship building with the clients, I can say that person is probably going to be perfect for them. That those personalities will match.
Okay. I like it. So you're doing a real deep intellectual dive in the people that you're working with, and having an understanding of the people that you already know in terms of different professionals, and matchmaking them to make the experience even more extravagant. I love that. So when you said you also got into coaching, correct? What type of coaching do you do?
So for new beginning wedding planners or event planners coming into the industry. Or if it's wedding planners and event planners that have already been in the industry and they kind of need a reboot, or, things have changed so much, and, just to give them that education, that affirmation, this isn't an easy industry. Number one, entrepreneurship is not an easy journey.
Right.
But also because when I came in, I didn't have anyone to lean on. So I didn't have, there weren't so many Black female wedding planners. There weren't many. So I didn't have like that mentor to kind of lean on. So I offer, the mentoring and coaching for that part, because there's a lot centered around pricing. What should we charge coming out the door? There's a lot centered.
What should a wedding planner charge coming out the door?
Well, market rate.
Okay. How do you find market rate?
You can Google it, or you can do the work and actually figure out what your level of services is, and then like how many hours you're putting into a wedding. It takes a lot of hours to plan a wedding.
It takes a ton of hours to plan a wedding. Because it's all of the research and stuff like that on the back end that's happening, and then scheduling all of those different, they were scheduling the dates, and they were scheduling the all of these different things, like they were working and scheduling all of those different things. So if I'm new, right, somebody out there is listening to this and they're saying that, hey, I'm creative. I can be a wedding planner. I can be an event planner, right? What's the first thing that you're coaching and that you're giving them insight on doing?
Asking them to what are their strengths and their weaknesses. Okay. And to hone in on their niche. Okay. So many entrepreneurs, when they jump in at everything. So wedding planning, they might jump in at wedding planning, and they're also doing florals, and then they're also doing, rentals, etc. But you have to do all of those things. So on the day of, you're in charge of all of those things. So now essentially, you need to be an octopus. Yeah. Under your business. So you have to hone in on your niche. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're good at all of those things, and you can do all of those things effectively and smoothly, then you found your niches.
I feel like you'd have to be there extremely early to have to do all of the floral decor, decorating, all of that stuff.
But remember, you're doing floral decor and decorating, but you also have to manage those 15 vendors that are coming in the door, loading in, have questions, manage the bridal party of 12, 24, whatever that is. Right. Make sure everyone is on point and you're starting prayerfully on time.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. And in that, I would definitely just pick one particular thing. Like you said, your niche. Finding out what your niche is, and just sticking with that. If it's going to be the planning and the execution of the wedding, I think like that should be your thing. Because even like I was glad at my wedding, we didn't like we had a microphone and it was connected to my speaker, but I'm glad I even brought my speaker to say, yo, we need a mic because we gonna do these. How we gonna do these vows just right here?
You just yelling?
Yeah, he's like, so I can't hear. They can't hear in the back. I vow to love you with all my heart. But no,
Yeah.
so like we had to do that, and my wife cheated, yo. My wife cheated. Oh my goodness. We she told me she wanted me to write my vows down
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't want me to have my
Your
phone
Mm-hmm.
up there. And then all of a sudden, when it comes time to read them vows, she looks back at her maid of honor and go, and she has her phone. And I said, oh no, this didn't. Had me up there writing my joints down.
You had to make
from
sure
my
you was prepared.
I was like, yo, how you going?
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna tell me not to do it, but you gonna do it?
Yep. She had to make sure you was prepared. She had to make sure you was
I
prepared.
don't like it. We need to have a conversation about that too, because we never talked about that.
Well, when you do your 10-year vow renewal, it'll come from the heart, so you won't need a phone or to write them down.
No, I'm bringing my phone.
Oh
for the
my
vow
goodness!
renewal.
Oh my goodness!
I'm bringing my phone. She did it. I get to do it at least once.
Oh my goodness!
So you help new event planners, new wedding planners, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
How do they get business? Like because that's going to be the first. Like, are they going to bridal expos? Because there's like a bunch of bridal expos. Do you get businesses from these big giant expos?
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. So
would it be beneficial for me to go there as a poet to be like, yo, I can, like,
it would probably be beneficial for you to participate.
Yeah.
Because you have a service that needs to be seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
So you would actually have to be a part of the show.
Okay.
I'm so glad you said that. Because I am the wedding expo consultant for Live Casino. But we will talk. But you have a service that needs to be heard and seen.
Right.
So that is one of the things with, the expos. It is really good for, again, giving your brand visibility, right? 2, networking and meeting other professionals.
Right.
So it's good for that. If you 9 times out of 10, if you get a client or 2, you've gotten your ROI.
For sure.
If you don't, hopefully you've made meaningful connections where I'm not going to sit here and say every wedding expo and, you're going to get some, make some clients, make some money. That might not be it, but you might meet meaningful connections where if you're a florist, hey, you've met a planner, you've met me. Oh, I like your flowers. I might be able to give you a couple weddings.
Right. Okay.
So it comes in, different waves.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're also focused on the bag immediately, it being an instant bag that sometimes we can't see. That connections, for me, connections are so important. Like I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't for my relationships and my connections.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely, I agree with you on that. I think that was one of the things that separated me in the very beginning was a connection. I was doing a free GED course. I met this guy was there who wasn't even supposed to be there. Then he invited this woman there. She saw me. She invited me to an event. And then I went there. I met this guy. He's now a 4-time Emmy Award winning producer. And I had an opportunity to work with him. And from there, things kind of like started to grow. But that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't doing those free GED classes in the very beginning. Just so it was amazing how things kind of connected and lined up. So you're helping them. So you have a coaching program? Is that
I do?
Is that what it is?
Yep. It's called the Tiffany Event Planning Experience.
Okay.
Yep. And
how do they find out about that?
The Tiffany Event Planning Experience.com.
Okay. Yep. Listen, can we just appreciate the fact that this is it's not go to Tiffany the Experience at gmail.com or go to my Instagram and it's an actual business, y'all. It's an actual thing. It is. What's the investment for something like that?
I have 2 different levels of mentoring and coaching. And then I put the pricing together for the event planner.
Okay.
Yes. So it involves, the in-person meetings, shadowing. If they're already an wedding planner or event planner, then, there's opportunity for me to shadow them.
Okay.
So that I can see, where their strengths and weaknesses are. So I can further assist. They can shadow me. And I am also, I build a community. So when I do weddings these days, for the last 5 years, I use wedding planners. I don't just have like a random temp assistant or something like that. I use wedding planners.
Use other wedding planners to come in and to help you, to give them experience, give them a little money in their pocket.
Yep. And then and vice versa. Like there's sometimes my eyes don't see everything.
Right.
So, a few years ago I was like, what could I have done better? Because I'm always learning. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
So it's really helpful to also have other professionals. We call it, the vet, was once a rookie. And, I'm still learning too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So listen, if you're an event planner, wedding planner, if you're an aspiring event planner or wedding planner, it's definitely a lucrative business. Do you know like the details of weddings, like how many weddings there are like in a year on average?
Millions.
You know all of that stuff?
Yeah,
like,
millions.
Okay.
Millions. That's why I always say it's enough work out here for everyone.
It's definitely enough work out here for everyone. Because if you look at like different venues and stuff like that, like them venues be booked out for like a couple years sometimes, or like a year.
Yes. It's just honing in on your market.
Right.
All of that good. But literally it is enough. It's enough weddings out here for everyone. Enough business. You just have to love what you do, move in your purpose, and it'll come.
Absolutely. So you talked about also you want to get into speaking. You want to do more speaking. Speaking around what? Just entrepreneurship in general, or
entrepreneurship and relationship building.
And relationship building. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So I have an entrepreneur group that meets every Tuesday night and Sunday night.
Okay.
I would love for you to do like a presentation to them. And, obviously some of them might be able to use your services for sure. Well, actually one of them is getting married that I know of. And I don't think she has she doesn't have a planner. She's definitely the planner. And we can talk about that too in terms of hiring your sister cousin to plan your wedding and not.
That's a whole nother podcast. Don't hire the sister cousin. Don't hire the uncle to do photos. In 2024 and beyond, we are trying to educate and we understand, finances, and we are not here to just take all your money, etc. But we want them to have the best day that they envisioned, right? Because I always say, y'all gonna hear this on every podcast that I talk on, there are no do-overs. You cannot wake up the next day and say, all of these things went wrong, let's do it again. You can't do it.
That's good.
So we are just trying to educate clients early on so that they have a planner, so that they can avoid some of those costly mistakes, avoid the stress, avoid those things, and add a planner to the budget.
Cause look, you think that them people at your wedding not gonna talk about the things that went wrong at your wedding? You wrong. They gonna talk about how bad the food was. They're not gonna say it in front of your face. They gonna talk about it behind your back. They gonna talk about how nasty the food was, how badly decorated it was. There was dirty chairs. There was dirty floors. It started 55. Oh my goodness, at Thanksgiving, they're going to be talking about you right before you walk in the door. And they're going to look, we was just talking about y'all. And was it good?
And if any of Tiffany Event Planner's past clients are in the guest count, they will be texting me. They will be texting me. They will be sending me pictures. Some of the professionals, if they like Tiffany, they didn't have a planner, and I have gotten photos like we sitting outside. Tiffany still hasn't started. It's an hour late. I'm like, what? Let me tell you, they.
Oh my jeez.
They might not tell you. They might be like,
they're not going to tell you.
Great. But they are definitely chit-chatting about it.
Listen, they are not going to tell you, but I promise you, them phones are going to be buzzing in the room, tapping to each other. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they late. Did you taste this food? Did you taste it? I ain't really eat that. Listen.
My weddings have started, I give a grace period of 7, no more than 10 minutes late. 7 minutes, literally. 7 minutes, I'm, starting. That's it.
Okay.
Because I always tell people, I look like I'm in charge. So if anything is going wrong, they're looking at me.
Right.
They're not looking at the clients.
They
And if you don't have a wedding planner, they just looking around to see if anybody's in charge.
If anybody know what's going on.
Going to help out. What's happening? So, I always tell, that's why I am going to put my best foot forward and then some.
Yeah.
Because if anything happens and I'm on site and I look like I'm in charge, they're like, they're going to wedding planner right there. Why we 45 minutes behind? So, and I can't afford that under my 2 brands.
Right.
So.
100%. No, that's for real. Like people be judging your events and don't think that people don't be judging your events. People be judging what it looks like. So you do like baby showers, that kind of stuff as well, or is that like not the thing? Is it mostly the weddings?
I don't get many baby showers.
Okay.
However, my past clients, my 2021 couple who I married, I'm doing their baby shower in March.
Beautiful.
Which is, a given. They call it's a given. I was just down here last night in Potomac, Maryland.
Okay.
For my clients that I married in 2017. The groom, his wife is turning 50, so he was like, "Tiffany, I need some help." So, of course, I'll do that.
And listen, that's that repeat and referral business right there, yo. That's how you grow that thing as an entrepreneur. So, what's as for event planners and wedding planners who are desiring to get into this business, what's the earning potential? You don't have to say what you make or anything like that, but like, what's the earning potential?
I mean, it all depends because entrepreneurs, when we come in, we still have full-time jobs,
right?
Things like that. But it all depends because it can vary. You can do 40, 50,000 a year,
right?
You can do 100 or 200 a year. It depends on how much you hustle, how much you grind, how much work you want to put in, what your pricing structure is. It's all of those things. A couple of years ago, I was sitting, when I used to have an office, I was sitting in my office and I was like, I want to do, at that time, wedding season. I was basing wedding season on March to October. And I said, I wanted to do 25 weddings in a season. And that was unrealistic.
Really?
Because that almost put me like no free time for myself. Like I was just looking at the dollar amount, right? I was looking at, I want to do 20 to 25 weddings, March through October, and I'll make so much money.
Right.
No. I got to a point where I was like, nope, we're going to change this. If I do 10 weddings, and my pricing structure is a little higher because my market has changed.
Right. Okay. All right. I like it. Yeah. I mean, I don't plan on getting into wedding planning or event planning. But I think
the blessing of being an entrepreneur is you can
write your own check.
Yeah, you're in control of your own destiny.
Absolutely. Like if what you want your earning potential to look like is 100%.
Your control,
right? And your control and involved in what it is that you do or what it is that you don't do. If it works, it's going to work because of you. If it doesn't work, it's going to not work because of you. And I think that sometimes this journey, and I'm in a space right now where sometimes this journey can get extremely lonely, and you can lose motivation. Yes. You can lose excitement. You lose your enthusiasm. Burnt. You can be completely burnt out. You can think that this is hustle season, but then hustle season goes on to like 5 years, and now this is like hustle half a decade, and you know, and even on the flip side of that, sometimes you can be in hustle season, get out of it, and start to see things dwindle down and be like,
Yep.
yo, hold on. Like, I stopped doing some of the things that got me here in the first place.
Yep.
I gotta go back and I gotta redo those things that got me there in the first place. And I think now I think I'm on like the search of looking for genuine people who are doing something at the same level that I'm doing it at, because I feel like I have a bigger desire to build these meaningful relationships than other people do. And I think it's becoming it's becoming something that it's just lonely. And I'm like,
no reciprocity.
yeah, I can't tell you the last time somebody hit me up and was like, yo, Jay, let's do lunch. It's always me. I'm always the one that's, yo, let's go grab lunch real quick.
Well, you know, they have those sayings, you know, you will see your circle change once you start to reach a certain level of growth.
Right.
And that is so true. Like you will understand who is actually going to walk with you, and that will be your deciding factor on forcing relationships, as opposed to it being authentic relationships.
And that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to force relationships. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm the only one interested in investing in this relationship. And you know, we support each other and stuff like that, but for me, it's got to be something deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that we can do to make money together.
Right. Yeah. Growth entrepreneurship is like a solo situation.
Yeah.
It gets real.
They got me feeling like I want to move to Atlanta. It's like
no.
Atlanta, here we come, baby. Pack up the house.
Yeah, it gets you know, that's why it's important to it's important to know your purpose. It's important to have those people that you can authentically speak to in reference to how you feel in this entrepreneurial journey.
Right.
Because I just had a conversation yesterday, and this is my transparency, y'all. I started this new cohort, business cohort, entrepreneurs. And so yesterday was onboarding day. And I had to do like some business work, where you have to write about your business and things like that, and your morals and your vision. And when I spoke it to my cohort, like they was giving me all this feedback. One thing Tiffany event planner can do, is I can leverage feedback. And that's one of the things I preach. But when I got that feedback based on my business for 15 years, they sucked the air out of me. And I text one of my authentic, genuine friends, and I was like, so I started this thing today. I feel crazy. I feel like I'm not adequate. And one of the things she said to me is, you continue to learn. Don't feel that way.
Right.
You always have to embrace learning.
Right.
Now, if I didn't have anyone to type that to, I would have been...
You can hold on to that. And now it becomes detrimental.
Exactly. So that's why it's important in the entrepreneur to recognize authentic, genuine people that are actually walking with you in this entrepreneurial journey. Because it's not pretty. It's not rainbows and frills. It's not.
It is definitely not. Like, you have to be continuously learning in the entrepreneurial game.
Yes.
You got to be reading books. You got to be going to seminars. You got to be going to workshops. You got to be going to conferences. You got to be going to master classes. And the thing of it is that I don't see a lot of them here in Maryland. I don't. So I started them. I started doing like the small business masterclass. Like I'm doing the social media masterclass in February. I think February the 17th is the date that I'm settling on. But I just don't see somebody that's teaching this sort of stuff to the people that's here in the DMV. Like I don't want to have to go to Atlanta every single time I want to go to a conference about entrepreneurship.
Right.
If I want to be around 1,000 entrepreneurs, I don't want to have to go to Atlanta to do that every single time. You know what I mean? I don't mind taking a flight. You know, if you plan out far enough, you can fly to Atlanta on $100 for a round trip.
You want your
I want it
accountability and your network to be here.
Home base, you know what I mean, to be here. Entrepreneurship is hard, it's difficult, it's stressful. But you got to find a reason to continue going. You got to find those small, even if you have to do them yourself, even in the beginning, you are going to have to be your own hype man. You got to be your biggest hype man, your biggest supporter, your biggest non-critic. And your biggest critic. You got to be all of those things to yourself in the very beginning.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Until it starts working.
Yep.
When at what point did you really start like getting to the bag? In what was it your first year, second year, or was it like third, fourth, fifth year?
It might have been, I want to say around my fifth year.
Okay.
However, that was when the quantity, I was like, oh, I have 15 weddings. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh. So that was that realization, right? Then clientele started to change. Oh, I got a 6-figure wedding. Oh my God. Like I'm on the phone discussing budgets, going places, venues and things like that. And I'm on the phone just calm and collective with the client. Like, yes, that sounds, I love that place. Da, 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 da. Whole time that's on my wish list. That's on my wish list. I'm getting off the phone. I'm like, yes. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to, I was like, oh my God.
Got a wedding at the mansion.
This wedding's going to be $120,000. Oh my God, we're going to spend $40,000 on florals and decor. Like, so even though 5 years, 5 years in, I had like, I'm looking at the numbers like, oh my God, I have, all these weddings. It wasn't until I started to change clientele where I'm like, oh, okay. And that could be what, year 10?
Right.
Year 11? No, wait, we had COVID. So, but somewhere around there. I was like, oh, this is, and I'm a full-time entrepreneur. So
this is it. It's got to work. It's this or it's nothing.
Listen, I'm getting to the bag by hook or crook. Like I'm hitting the street. I'm like, always and always. When I was working, it was different. I'm like, if they hire me, they hire me. If they don't, they don't. Because I still get a check in 2 weeks.
Right.
Not so much now.
Yeah. That's a little scary right there.
And that is. Yeah. And you can't hop just because it's popular.
Yeah.
You have to know that that's your journey and your purpose. I can't tell you how many times I was like, oh, I'm going back to work. I can't do this. I can't do this.
What kept you though from going back?
Because this is where God put me.
Okay.
This is what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
And he confirms it every time. He be like, didn't I tell you I had you?
Right.
Every time.
That was my experience as well. So many times where I wanted to quit and I just wanted to say, you know what, I'm good.
Listen,
I'm good.
Listen, I got a resume.
Right.
I can send it out. I'm going back to work.
Somebody willing to pay me.
God was like, man, please sit down. Please sit down.
Yeah. I'm in the process right now of trying to quit my job. And I think like yesterday I got a really great phone call and I think I'm one step closer to being able to do that. But I still know I got to have 6 months of all of my expenses saved. If I have 6 months of all of my expenses saved, then I can comfortably, not only just me, my wife, say, babe, I'm done. I'm ready to go.
Yep.
Like,
it has to be a plan.
We got some backing and if I'm able to get 6 months saved, that means business is also going extremely well, because I got to be able to get the money to get that stuff saved.
Yeah.
And I can't go until I have that. And which, after the phone call yesterday, I think I'll be able to creep up on that relatively quickly. But now it's still going to be scary though to wake up every single day, because this would literally be my office now. Like right where I do this recording for the podcast would also be like where I got to make all of these phone calls at every single day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
it becomes, you have to walk in that, faith over fear.
Yeah. I think I'm ready for that too. Like I think that I'm ready for that next season of entrepreneurship. I told myself that this year would be the last year that I would have to work for somebody. So by December 31st, 2024, I want to either be done or at least put in my 2 weeks notice by December 31st, 2024.
Y'all heard it.
It's out there.
It's there.
It is out there. Listen, it is out there. Like this is like what my next step is going to be like, and I just need a couple more contracts to come through. I need a couple more contracts to come through, yo. And it's popping.
A couple more bags. He need a couple more bags.
A couple more bags. You know what I'm saying? Just hey, send me a bag if you got somebody that that got some. Yeah, send me a bag. Okay. So what? How long do you want to do this? How long do you see yourself doing this?
So I would say another few years.
Okay.
But I really want to, and I'm going to put it out there, I want to do more speaking and educating on wedding and event planning, entrepreneurship. And then I would like to do teaching as well on entrepreneurship and wedding planning and event planning. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, we got some stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm. We got some stuff to talk about. As a strong Black woman, it is a story. It's a story. Listen.
Are you writing your book? Are you writing memoir?
I got a
writing prompt for it.
Somebody just asked me that.
I got a writing prompt for it.
Okay.
It's like 100-page writing prompt where literally after you're done, you'll literally have your whole book already written out.
Okay. Yeah, somebody just asked me, so when you writing the memoir?
Yeah.
So my first ebook, my first book, The Competent and Confident Wedding Planner's Guide, I started that process during COVID.
Mm-hmm. What is that book?
That is literally the start of wedding planning. It talks about basically how you can become an extraordinary wedding planner.
Okay.
Leveraging feedback, having empathy, working with clients, being transparent, building relationships. So that's what that book entails. It also comes with a workbook as well.
Okay.
To kind of get...
What's the investment on that?
$24.95.
$24.95.
Yep.
Okay.
It's on my website, the Tiffany Event Planning
Experience.com.
It's also on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I love it.
Yes.
So listen, go if you want to start in the business, you can go and get the book. Then after that, you can get her coaching program.
Yep.
You can shadow her. She's also going to bring you to some different events, some different wedding events, so that you can get your feet wet, so that you're not feeling like you out there by yourself and you don't know what to do. And you got all of this information now. It's go jump out the window and go do your own first wedding with 200 people, and you have no idea what you're doing it with.
No, don't do that.
Right. We don't want you. She's going to make sure that you don't have that experience, y'all. Make sure y'all follow her. To the people that's going to be listening to this audio, where can they find you, follow you?
So on all of social media, it is Bird of Paradise Events on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Also, Tiffany Event Planner. And the book, of course, The Competent and Confident Wedding Planner's Guide, is at the Tiffany Event Planner Experience.com.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, y'all, make sure y'all follow, make sure y'all like, make sure you comment, send this out to a friend who, girl, you've been thinking about, or bro, you've been thinking about doing this wedding planning stuff. Mm-hmm. Yo, here it is, right? Connect. I love it. I love it. Y'all know the motto here. Always stay in your bag, so you never got to chase a bag. Until next time. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. This was amazing. I love this
conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.